Hey, what's up, YouTube? How you doing? It's Coach Cheney coming to you from Recruiting, Football, and Life. My YouTube channel dedicated on basically giving parents, players, coaches, and kids advice on some topics that I think about from time to time when it comes to football, when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to parenting, and when it comes to life. Um, Basically, coming to you from sunny Southwest Florida. We just had a little cold front come through. It's 60 something degrees, man. Beautiful outside. Should be at the beach somewhere, but I decided to stay at home and talk about this topic that came to mind. Um, I want to talk about decision making, especially when it comes to young men, and especially when it comes to young men going through high school and growing up. One of my former coaches, who was on my staff, good friend of mine named Mike Farley, he said, "Coach, the hardest thing for a young man to do will be to grow up." And that makes sense. The more and more I thought about it, and the more experiences that I have with young men, and especially football players and athletes, it's tough growing up. Your environment has a lot to do with that. Your situation that you're involved in has a bunch to do with that. And we all go through different things. We all have different family structures. But growing up, it'll be one of the hardest things that young people have to do. So you always have to keep that in mind as a coach and as an adult and as a parent. You have to keep in mind that they're all different mixed up factors with every kid. You know, all kids are going through different things. They live in different type of housing situations. They have one parent, two parents. They may be from out of town or may not have any family in town, maybe from a different culture or background. But we all have to keep in mind that all situations are different when it comes to decision making in kids. So just to go rewind a little bit, we get freshmen that come in and we say, "Hey, look, Mr. Freshman, you need to have a certain, goal for a grade point average." And we usually say 3.0. If you can go overall 3.0, your core will be fine. You'll be able to make a decent score on the test, and things can go pretty easy. But a lot of times these kids come from middle school as freshmen. They come in and they don't have to wear the uniform anymore. They can wear what they want, and they got 18 and 19-year-old kids running around, and they get lost in the shuffle sometimes. Okay, so they'll do things like not make good grades. They'll get referrals for being late. They'll get in trouble, and okay, we can work with it. We'll work with you. You're a freshman. We're hoping you mature and get better, but some of the kids just keep going through these patterns. They keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And then it comes, we fast forward to them being high school senior. Grown, you got great height and weight and size. Your body looks good, and you can play on a high level in college if you would have listened and had your stuff together from the start. I got guys who've graduated from high school going on 2 years who asked Coach Cheney, "Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that?" But you made wrong decisions as a ninth grader. And I'm not saying it's a death sentence, but you stack the odds against you like by 1,000 times. You're trying to get into a college and you don't have no film. You didn't make it at the JUCO. You didn't make it here. You dropped out of here and you dropped out of there. A lot of times, I see it all the time. Guys will get scholarships, or guys will get partial scholarships or whatever, and for some reason or another they don't make it, and then they sit around at home and realize, man, hey, this college life thing wasn't so bad. Then they want to go back. "Oh, coach, can you call this person? Can you call that person?" Guys, your chances of playing college football are greatly reduced when you leave the first situation that you were involved in. Now, I'm not talking about this whole transfer portal deal. I'll probably get into that later. But guys, this thing is vitally important. It's not easy playing college football. Let me be the first to tell you. I know you're going to get a lot of, when you get back to school after winter break, you're going to get guys, they're going to come in, they're going to sweet talk you, and then coach is going to say, "Hey, it's great." And it is great. But guys, college football is a lot of work. Just period, point blank. It's going to be the hardest time in your life. And I got kids going through it every day. They call and they whine, they get homesick, they complain, man, I never thought we had to meet this many times. I never thought we had to run this much. I never thought we had to work out this much. Yes, this is a business. Yes, you were getting a free education, but at the end of the day, it's a business. Coaches' livelihoods are on the line, and they're depending on you to make sure that, let's be honest, this is the real world. They're depending on you to come in, be mature, and to make sure that you're getting the job done so they can keep their jobs. Let's not get it twisted. This ain't like a Florida high school coach who ain't making no money, who's trying to help be a mentor to you, trying to help you be a better man. I'm not saying that college coaches don't do that, because they do. There's a lot of them that do. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is, you got a Power 5 FBS position coach making $300,000 or $400,000. Come on, man. It's you got to go in and you got to step up and you got to be mature. You decide to go to a Division II, Division III NAIA school. Yeah, it's not glamorous. You have to pay for a lot of your education, but it's the same thing. You got guys trying to keep their jobs. You got people who are feeding their families through coaching football. So if you start feeling some type of way and getting in your feelings and saying, hey, I want to come home. Oh, okay, go home. But it's going to be hard finding somewhere else, man. I'm just telling you. Your high school coach ain't going to be able to make these 1,000 phone calls to get you in school. Sometimes we get lucky. Sometimes people come by and say, hey, we're looking for a guy who wasn't a fit at his former college. We got a space for him. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be 9.9 times out of 10, it's not going to be a full football scholarship. You're either going to have to walk on or you have to go Division II, Division III, NAIA, JUCO, and you're going to have to pay some money. Your parents are going to have to pay some money. So that's how it works, guys. And the alternative of not going to college, getting that degree in 4 or 5 years, and playing football, the game you love, the alternative to that is coming out and getting a job. Coming out and hey, mom and dad, can I live with you for a little? Yes, you in my house, you got a little time, but it's going to be a certain amount of time where you're going to have to get out and be on your own. If you didn't want this structure and the demands of playing college football or going to college, fine. But if you're not in school, you're going to be working, and you're going to eventually find you somewhere to stay. And I don't care where you stay, but you're going to be a man. We've taught you, all we've poured into your life is being a man. So you're going to be a man and try to find you somewhere to play, to live life, and hopefully one day raise a family and be an asset to society. You'll figure it out. You lay a great foundation for your kids. Then they may not go, every perfect direction you want them to go, but that's life. People have their own lives to live, and they figure it out every time. You pray over them. You know what I'm saying? You wish them the best. You provide as much support as you can, but you never want to be a crutch for a kid. And we've all made that mistake. We padded the landings for our kids since they were babies, but it comes a time where you got to take that pad away from them, and we give them instructions as high school coaches, as high school teachers, as high school administrators. We give them the course of action to be successful. They have free choice on whether you can't make them follow that course of action. You can't intimidate them into following that course of action. Kids get a certain age, you got to let them be who they are. You got to let them do what they do, and then they eventually get what they deserve. So my thing is, for parents especially, know the warning signs when your kid's not in place. Know the warning signs when your kid is not supposed to be doing what he's supposed to be doing. Grades are slipping. You don't see no homework getting done. You don't hear anything about football. You hear no announcements. You need to start getting involved. You need to dig your nose in. You need to start being nosy and say, hey, what's going on? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Why am I not seeing your progress reports? Why am I not getting emails from your teacher? You need to be on point when it comes to checking on and making sure your kid is doing what they need to do. Now, don't let college football be your goal and not be your kid's goal. Well, how do I know that, Coach? Well, if your kid's not working out, if he's always skipping weights, if he does the bare minimum in football, if he has no enthusiasm, he probably not going to be a college football player. He knows that he has to have a certain core GPA. He knows he has to have a certain test score. He knows he has to have that test taken by a certain time because we tell him every day. We tell him every week. We're constantly reminding them on what they need to do. So don't. If the kid doesn't have that type of enthusiasm, maybe he wants to take a trade. Maybe he wants to just go to college and be a student. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going and learning a trade and starting your own business and making money, man. It's more than one river to the ocean. So this channel is just not about everybody getting a football scholarship, no, because it's not for everybody. Some of the things I went through in college, man, the average person probably couldn't go through. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of lonely nights, a lot of nights wondering, why the hell am I here? Why am I not at home at the damn Memorial Day barbecue with my parents? Why I'm up here practicing. You understand what I'm saying? So you guys got to understand, and I'm sorry about the phone, man. That's the life of a coach, man. Phone constantly ringing all the time. But hang in there. Athletes, if you want the bag at the end of your senior year, if you want that offer, you got to make sure you have all your ducks in a row. You got to make sure you have everything in place, because it'll be a sad day if you do have the willingness to do it. If you're physically, in a place where you can do it, it'll be a shame if you didn't do it because you were lazy in the classroom, or if you were lazy taking the test. I know people like this personally, and it hurts. I know it hurts. You know what I'm saying? So our goal as coaches is just to show you the map, help you along the way, support you where we can. But at the end of the day, the work has to be done by you. So thank y'all, man. It's Coach Chaney, beautiful sunny Southwest Florida. Thank y'all for tuning in to my channel. If you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you, guys, and y'all have a happy Sunday.